Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Leslie Weidenbender. I'm here today with Representative Peggy Mayfield. She's a Republican from Martinsville. Welcome.
Thank you.
So this is your first session at the General Assembly.
Yes, it is.
Tell us how it's going so far.
It seems to be going very well. Bills are moving, not a lot of controversy. There's a lot to learn. I mean, just the sheer volume of topics, the diversity of topics, the speed at which you have to work, it's all an adjustment.
You have several bills, though, right off in your first session. One of them has to do with fire districts. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was brought to us by the Perry Clear Creek Fire Protection District, and they want to do some building and renovation on their property, and found out that the existing state law indicated that if you had a certain level of assessed valuation that you could only finance for 6 years, but if you were under that threshold you could have 15 years. We couldn't find any logical explanation for the difference in the time period, so we're removing that 6-year limit and allowing them to go for the full 15 years so that local governments can keep it within their own budgets without having to go to the expense of bonding.
Do you feel pretty confident that that will become law?
I just came out of the committee hearing in the Senate this morning, and I think that it'll go through.
So you have Indiana University in your district, and one of the things that is important to them is a bill on the School of Public Health.
Yes, the university itself physically is not within the district, but I'm adjacent to it. Indiana University had a change in statute a few years ago. They had a Department of Public Health, and they changed it to a School of Public Health, but that wasn't changed in statute. So they approached me about carrying the bill to change their name technically to the School of Public Health, which is significant in the fact that now they qualify for federal research funds that they couldn't get before. And everybody knows that IU is a great research facility, and they need to be able to leverage that capability with some extra funds.
Any concern about whether or not that can become law?
That's gone through both houses as well and is on the floor, and I look forward to hearing that one pass as well.
So the House has already passed the budget. Tell me what you thought about the budget and what your priorities for spending are.
Well, I think it was a very fair and balanced budget, and that was our priority. It does bring some funding back to areas that that was taken away from a few years ago. I think that we are taking a very cautious approach, and I think that's the wise thing to do. And if there's extra money left over, or we find out that the projections are good, then we can always reconsider, additional refunds or funding to different topics later. But I think to start with, we have a very good balanced budget.
Well, and I think this is what you're referring to. Of course, Governor Mike Pence has a plan out there to cut income taxes. What would you like to see happen there?
I think that we just need to wait and make sure that that is a possibility. The one thing you want to avoid is by giving that and then having to turn around in a couple years and saying, well, wait a minute, we don't have quite enough, and to impose a tax. So I think that we just have to look down the road and make sure it's a sustainable tax cut when we decide to do it.
And what are your priorities for the last week or two? We've got a few seconds. What are your last priorities?
Well, I still have 2 more bills moving that I'm just trying to corral and make sure that they get a hearing and out on the floor. So that to me is a priority, to watch them. Learning. The process is very fast-paced, a lot of details, a lot of nuances that you need to pick up on to be successful, and I'm trying to keep my ear to the ground to see if I can pick up on those early.
Representative Mayfield, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Leslie.
I'm Leslie Weidenbender with the StateHouseFile.com and Comcast Newsmakers. Thanks for joining us.